purposely bad because they want
they're
you not
intentionally.
in control.
It's like the intentionally stunted controls. It's literally just meant to make the game artificially difficult.
This would be a great conversation to have on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
maybe hit the fucking record button, dude, bro.
Well, I did about 18 seconds ago, but I only caught like half that conversation. Also, welcome to the tutorial. If you're here to learn something, learn that we don't know what we're doing.
Definitely not.
right. We have no idea.
Yeah, so this week on the tutorial, we're talking about bad game design. Boy, oh boy.
Yes, all the games we hated the design on because it was terrible.
And we're starting with Ringo.
Yeah. Oh boy, this is gonna go well. So bad game design, right? All right. Well, let me give me a second. I think for the most part, most of the bad game design. Well, okay, I can say. I think probably the worst case of like not intentional bad game design, obviously just bad game design. Fucking like The Suffering. I don't know if you know what that game is.
Never heard of
I
it.
do not personally know.
Well, it's like a horror game where you play as a guy named Torque. You're like you like get sent to prison at the beginning of the game, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that guy killed his wife and kids," and then depending on how you play the game, there's multiple endings. Depending on how you play the game, whether you go with the good ending or the neutral ending or the bad ending. If you go with the bad ending, it's like, oh yeah, you actually did kill your fucking wife and kids. But the good ending is like, oh no, you didn't, and they're getting he gets like
so
a
wait,
retrial.
depending on what you do in prison, you retroactively alter the timeline.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so you're on an island prison.
Logical sense.
You're on an island prison, and it's full of like monsters, and that's the game. And you have to kill all the monsters and escape the prison. And the final boss, it's like a Sora's Shadow Heartless thing. The final boss, it's that kind of a deal. It's like the final boss is
your own darkness in your heart.
You fight like your own demon.
That is fucking hilarious.
But there's some interesting like. So it's a very clunky and poorly written story, but it's also like a not fun to play game. Well, I enjoyed it because I didn't like when I was playing it. I didn't give a shit about it being bad. I just wanted to play it.
It sounds like it has a similar premise to the original Outlast.
Except
I don't know.
The original Outlast doesn't retroactively affect the story.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, there's a sequel too. There's a sequel.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Suffering.
Guess what happens at the beginning of this sequel?
You kill your wife and kids.
No, you get sent to another prison.
Yes. It does not matter that you proved your innocence before. We decided that you need to be imprisoned again.
Yeah, but throughout the game, you kind of go through, and there's some like, what's the word? There's some like symbolism, I guess, but essentially you get this like monster form, and the more you use it, the more you get evil points, basically. So to get the true good ending, you have to never use it once throughout the entire game, which makes the game way fucking harder.
This game looked like it was not.
It looks like garbage.
It does not look great.
I'm
I'm looking at pictures of it now online.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. Yeah, your dude is an inmate on death row, and then the prison gets broken into by demons.
The suffering ties that bind.
Yeah, that's the sequel, Ties That Bind.
I love how the prison is
Okay,
home to a Satan worshipping cult. It looks like.
you could
Boy, that's a
switch
real
between.
attractive looking game there.
Oh yeah, you could switch between first and third person in this game, which I thought was neat. But the first person is utterly fucking terrible.
Mm.
The first person is like clunky as shit. So there's combos that you can do with the melee weapons that you can do in third person, but you can't do them in first person for some fucking reason. Like you have one
Okay.
attack animation in first person, and then in third person you have like a 3-point combo.
So they tried to like mix two different game styles together, essentially.
Yeah. They have this like bestiary log whatever that tells you about all the different monsters, and they all are supposed to represent something like in Silent Hill type of deal.
Mm.
Uh, one of them is basically just a really big fat guy with a gun and a hook, and you have to fight
Here,
like a
piggy,
million.
piggy.
Yeah, and it's basically and you have to fight a fucking million of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I forget what they were called though. It's been a long time since I played that game, but
So which thing
uh,
specifically are you pointing out as bad game design, or just the whole game?
I guess most of it, like the fucking combat is not good. The controls are shit. The controls are really shit, especially the third person camera controls are shit. The
Is it like
second one is
Resident
even
Evil
worse.
cameras shit?
No, imagine like the camera kind of, you can move it around freely, but it it doesn't like, you move the stick to the left and it goes like to the left and up, and that's just how the game is
The
designed.
fuck?
It's not like,
Why?
it's not the bad controller, it's just how the game is designed. Yeah, it's like really fucking awkward trying to move the camera around. uh on top of that, there's bosses. There are multiple bosses, and they are all gimmicky, and they are all bad. One
Bad
of them is
gimmicks.
like a one
Gimmicky.
of them. I hate gimmicky shit like that, but at the same time, if they were all the same, it would get boring. But one of the bosses, I forget. Uh, I forget what his name is, but he's like a shock therapy type of shit, like the Doctor from Dead by Daylight. It's very much in that same vein,
Interesting.
Okay.
but except he can like astral project for some
So
fucking
like
reason.
OG Doctor when he gave you like hallucinations and shit.
No, I mean like there's a phase of the fucking boss fight where you have to shoot his like astral projection.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, silent protagonist. I forgot about that.
Well, there's a difference between like the game design being bad and people writing a shit story.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of both, honestly, with this game. It's really a bit of both. Uh, yeah, here we go. Torque has been sentenced to death for murdering his ex-wife and their 2 children, although he claims to have blacked out during the incident and can remember nothing. That's the like what you learn at the very, very beginning of the game.
Okay.
Shortly after entering his cell, an earthquake rocks the prison, and moments later, all of the inmates on death row escape, or except Torque. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't read. I'm fucking brain dead. All of the inmates on death row except Torque are killed by malefactors, which is what the fucking bad guys are called.
The demon things?
Yeah, they're called malefactors.
Okay. This
But
sounds like it's a brilliantly constructed
it's
game
such a
with
fucking like
absolutely
acid trip
perfect
of a game.
gameplay.
It's such an acid trip of a game, and I don't know if that's even on purpose. If it's on purpose, then fucking
Usually, if it's an acid trip, it is not on purpose.
oh man. Oh, there's different.
That's like
There's
Scooby
different.
Doo and the fuck Scooby Doo meets Kiss or whatever it's called. That movie was not meant to be an acid trip, but oh boy, is it an acid trip?
Wait, was there actually one?
Yeah. In which the band Kiss is actually like interdimensional super gods that
Oh,
masquerade as rock
wow.
artists.
Oh, wow. I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't. I wasn't prepared for fucking this today.
What in the
Yep.
fuck? Holy shit!
And Fred still gives no fuck.
Of course not. He's Fred.
What the fuck?
Oh man. Back to video games. I just wanted to. Hold on, someone's calling me. Give me a sec. In front of me.
A mechanic that I thought was actually good in this game, with the whole good and evil thing, is you can physically see with your character whether you are on the good route or the evil route, because it'll physically change how you look. Basically, it's not they didn't implement it
Like
in a good
Fable.
way, but they didn't implement it in a good way, but it was a good idea. Basically, if you're on the good, if you're doing the good story, your clothes are perfectly pristine, clean, whatever. Neutral, they're like normal, and evil, they're just covered in blood and filthy. But there's also a photograph that you can look at, which is a picture of his wife and two kids, and if you're on the good path, it's perfectly clean. It follows the same thing. If you're evil, it's covered in blood. Uh, in the second game, in Ties That Bind, depending on whether you're good, evil, or neutral, the monster form actually has a different look to it for each one, which I don't know why, because the neutral one is like a swamp monster for some fucking reason.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. But
That's just someone feeling bad for Grundy.
this game was fucking weird. It was so strange. I mean, it's honestly, what the fuck?
What?
Oh, what the fuck? I just found this. This is from the very first cutscene in the second game.
Do you think Carmen left you? You weren't enough.
No, he doesn't sound like that.
I
sounds
am
like-
speaking what that picture looks like.
That guy sounds like stereotypical, like caricature of a black man who got thrown in jail.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So
For,
what
like,
I'm
tax
what I'm
evasion
hearing
or some shit.
what I'm hearing is that this entire game is just garbage, just horribly designed.
Oh yeah, the fucking
garbage.
I never finished the second game, but the first one was, oh, it was a trip. It was hard to complete. It was hard to get through.
Never something you want to hear people say.
Yeah.
Because
like-
I can just tell by the way you say it that it's not like the game.
It's not like the game was difficult. It was difficult
Beat it.
to play the game.
It was
difficult to
for
continue
me
to play the
put
game.
myself through
Yeah.
the bullshit that was this game.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a product of the early 2000s, so I mean, you can't be too mad about it. Oh yeah, there was a boss that was the ghost of somebody who died, who got like, he was a doctor that took his job a little bit too seriously of lethal injection, and then he started coming up with more and more creative ways to kill people on death row, and then he started gassing people, and then he ended up getting
That
gassed
sounds
himself, and then
terrible
that's how he
going on.
died, and then his like spirit becomes a boss, and he's like a fucking gas man.
What a fucking joke.
it's so it's such a
like the gas, so
it's-
I came to gas.
so okay, so it's
does sound
difficult
very Dead
to
by
play.
Daylight,
It's a horribly made and horribly written game, but despite that, I did actually enjoy it. So I mean, I would recommend if you want to fucking get the experience for yourself, just do it. Just play the game.
That is a great segue into what I want to talk about.
Go on.
Sonic the fucking Hedgehog.
Well, only if you're like on DeviantArt a lot.
There. Oh man, I didn't even want to bring up the Sonic fandom. Holy crap, that is its own conversation.
Sonic
just
X
that-
Garfield X Feet.
Sonic
What
is
the
another game
fuck?
series that is like, so many of the games are so badly designed, but I did have fun with them. I think the real standout ones, like the real standout ones of like, this was just, every decision they made about this game was not good.
You mean like
Was Shadow the
Sonic?
Fucking
Hedgehog,
werewolf
Sonic
and
R?
Sonic Boom. Oh, Sonic R was
Sonic
bad too.
Boom.
Wasn't Sonic R the one where they first tried to go to 3D and it just did not work?
Yeah, something like that.
Hold on, let me look this up. I wasn't even thinking about Sonic R when I made my list. Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, so we can talk about this for a minute. This game was so bad. It was people who had no idea how 3D anything worked trying to make a 3D game. That's really what it was. And like the whole system was just really bad, and not to mention the fact that like you could win some of these matches by just looping around the poles around the start, because the start was also the finish line. So you just start moving, and then instead of going around the track, you just loop around the pole, and it would count as a lap because you went behind the finish line and then came back through it. Which,
Why?
that's bad design. That's bad design for any racing game.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why
know.
the fuck?
They didn't want to play their own game to test it so badly, they just left it in.
That's fucking terrible.
I don't know if that's what they did, but sure feels like it. And then if you did walk,
It just
it was
sounds
like
god awful.
what, me eating?
No, fucking Sonic R.
If you did run the tracks, first of all, they had no idea how to make controls for a 3D game, so like you're moving your little stick and it is not doing shit. And secondly, you could just like fly off the map randomly at any time, it felt like. It was not well designed. I was wanting to talk about Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Boom, though.
Oh my god, Shadow the
because
Hedgehog. Oh
Shadow the
my
Hedgehog
god.
is an example. They very purposely designed the game to be that way, and that design turned out to really not work for the series and the sort of what they were going for. And Sonic Boom is, they just didn't finish the game.
Yeah, Sonic Boom, they just didn't finish it.
Sonic Boom sucks.
Shadow had a few interesting flaws.
Find
The
a
first one-
computer room.
In fairness, yes, the voice acting was not grand.
Press the B button.
We
Oh,
did
man.
we did
The
talk about
immersion.
this a little bit in the Sonic games episode, but man, the
Okay.
they didn't give a
Yeah.
goddamn about immersion in Shadow the Hedgehog. They were like, immersion? What's that? Press the
My
B
immersion
button.
was shattered 5 seconds into
Like,
the
yeah,
game.
like
When
2
the-
minutes into the
When
game,
the
you've got one of the
ultimate bad
characters.
guy goes, if you want something off the ground, press
When
the
he goes,
B
what?
button. I mean, do you actually not hear me, or are you making fun of me?
Yeah,
No,
no, you
I
actually, you actually
heard you. I think it was just Ringo.
Wow, okay, maybe it
Okay.
was just me.
So I was saying, my immersion was shattered immediately when the ultimate bad guy of the game, who you can choose to work with for some of the missions, talks to you about picking up items and weapons off the ground, and he says to pick up something off the ground, press the B button. And I was like, yeah, okay, this ultimate bad guy is just immediately breaking the fourth wall to talk about buttons on my controller. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, yeah.
What was his name
And this was
again?
back when
Sirius
this was-
Black?
No, not Sirius Black. That's
Oh,
fucking.
no,
that's
that was
fucking,
a whole other
Harry
problem.
Potter. That's Harry
No,
Potter.
his name was
Sirius Black.
Black Doom, and he
Yeah.
ran the Black Arm Alien group. And the thing was, like, throughout the whole game, all the humans and the Mobians just called them the Black Aliens.
Those
and it was
disgusting
like,
black
so
aliens.
bad.
Good job, Sega. Really knocking it out of the park.
So bad. See,
When
that's
when
that's
you've
a
got
game,
Sonic
like,
the actual hedgehog
that's a
saying
writing
fucking
error. Yeah,
those black,
the Black
creatures.
Aliens or the Black Creatures. Yep. That's what he said.
Those black aliens. Whoa, Sonic.
Ironically,
God damn, you can't just
ironically-
go around saying that, dude.
Ironically, you want to know the only character in the game who never refers to them as the Black Aliens?
Shadow?
Eggman.
Eggman.
The bad
The
guy
Black
of
Hand.
the series is the most conscientious character in the game.
Well,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
he's got a big IQ. You know.
I guess. Normally that IQ does not work for social things, but I guess it worked really well for this one. I think it's largely because for the most part, Eggman just didn't care about them. He was just kind of like, they're in my way, kill them.
Kill
never really
them for
bothered
me,
them.
Shadow.
But
I don't think that's what he sounds like.
no.
But
he really doesn't.
I might
Shadow the
argue
Hedgehog,
that
by the way, is the game that like terrible Sonic animation was like, Shadow's a punk ass bitch who pissed on my wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'm taking everything from you. Give me your phone.
Fucking video's so dumb.
Yeah.
I'm calling you out, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That lives rent free in my brain for sure.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, the calling them the black creatures or the black aliens is a great example of like a bad writing design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been that difficult.
You could say that.
It wouldn't have been that difficult to. You wanted to call them the Black Arms, or you could call them the Black Arm Armada, or something like that. And even with the term "black" in it, it wouldn't have sounded racist. And if
Well,
there
yeah,
was a
'cause the
symbol
Black
for it,
Arm
and
is
everyone
what their
recognized
name
it in the
was.
game, and knew that that's what that group was called, and spoke as though they were, you know, a legitimate group that we need to worry about, rather than the black creatures, it wouldn't have sounded terribly racist.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Sega is smart.
Sega.
However, something that I would
Yeah.
argue was just bad physical game design was the decision to implement guns into
Oh
Sonic
my
the Hedgehog.
god, the guns were terrible.
And the fact that they clearly had no idea what they were doing. Yeah, that one mission where it's like, kill the president's escape jet. And, like,
Give me that gun. Give me that
took
gun. I gotta
minutes to
kill the
figure out.
president.
it took me a minute to
Kill the
figure out
president.
on that mission that like you don't have to aim. The bullets will magically go upward.
Yeah.
Cause I like try to actually aim my guns. And also, can we talk about the fact that the aim option, which you only ever use when you pick up the sniper rifle, is the worst thing to
Because they tried to tack on a gun aim mechanic to a fucking homing attack mechanic, and it didn't work.
This
And they
see here's the
also,
thing.
tried to
This
put
is the
guns in a
opposite
Sonic
of the
game, which is like-
thing that Beard wants to talk about.
Yeah. So good, dude.
So yeah, the decision to add guns and the fact that they didn't clearly have like an idea or a system how they were going to do that, because it's not like you couldn't. To give an example, Sonic Forces had a gun-esque system in it. It wasn't guns, and it wasn't quite like that. It was all like grapple hook stuff. But the mechanic to like aim, shoot, do whatever you're gonna do was way more streamlined, way better. They clearly understood what they wanted to have available for you to do and how to implement a system to do it. But they definitely did not have those things in Shadow the Hedgehog.
No.
For Sonic Boom, I mean, I'm not sure how to like. I'll see if I can find specific.
You
things.
really
I mean,
can't
the game
make
was
an
broken.
excuse for that one. Sonic Boom just fucking sucks.
Yeah, there's no redemption for that.
First of all, it's like a whole new Sonic universe that has nothing to do with any other Sonic that ever existed. Secondly, Robotnik's no longer a threat. He's just a doofy idiot who kind of wants to, sort of wants to take over the world.
And the salad is hot.
Yeah,
How is that even possible? That's Sonic Boom, Eggman.
I was like, he technically he wants to rule the world and he plays at being a villain, but at the end of the day, he's just like their dorky friend who doesn't quite do everything the normal social way.
And literally, it's like, like, bruh, what the fuck? they downplayed it, and they do this. They do this so much. That's what I was gonna say. They downplay Robotnik all the time because he's always second fiddle to whatever villain is in this game. So in this case, it's the Snake Genie.
Yeah.
And then like
the Snake Genie, the Super Tech Snake Genie, by the way.
For example, in Shadow the Hedgehog, it was those black.
Ironically, I'd argue that they actually downplayed him less in Shadow the Hedgehog than they do in most of the other games. Because at least in Shadow the Hedgehog, they showed he had a goddamn air fleet armada, and he absolutely fought the Black Arm Armada toe to toe and did not instantly die over it.
Right,
whereas
but
every other military force on the planet just got steamrolled.
For example, Sonic Heroes. It was Sonic Heroes. It was Metal Sonic. That was the bad guy. Shadow. It was the Black Hand.
The Black Hand.
Sonic Boom.
The Black Hand of Sauron.
Sonic Boom. It's fucking Lyric or whatever. I don't think I can name a Sonic game in the last like 20 years where the bad guy is just Robotnik.
No. See, the last time
Robotnik
was like seriously the genuinely
seriously the genuinely the bad guy.
Yeah, the last time that he was like really actually the bad guy, was Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I think.
What was the game with fucking Chaos?
I think that was Sonic Adventure 2, yeah.
Yeah, that game was weird.
Nope, Sonic Adventure 2 was where we introduced Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, okay.
Because he was the damn doppelganger or whatever.
the damn doppelganger.
But Sonic's like, I'm gonna get that doppelganger. Or whatever, like that fake hedgehog.
That fake hedgehog.
To be fair, I actually think, Adventure is like terribly designed. It has some of the best writing in the series, at least. That
That's
story
not
was
saying
actually a
much.
story that made sense.
That's still not saying much.
It really is not saying much.
No, it's not. I know it's not.
No.
I'm just saying, like, it was actually a full story that made sense. Whereas, some of these other Sonic the Hedgehog stories are like, I don't know where you're getting this from, but
Sir,
like,
sir, I do not understand the story you have written for me here in front of me,
okay,
face.
so like Shadow the
What?
Hedgehog, another problem that I had was who the hell even are the Black Arms? Like, we had this whole story about how Gerald loved his granddaughter, tried to like make a world where his granddaughter could safely live because she had a horrible autoimmune disease, and then when the government set mooks up to like fuck his whole thing up because they decided, we don't want to back this anymore. Um, they the soldiers were told, kill everybody, and so one of them decided that the way they were gonna take that out was to shoot Maria because it doesn't matter that she's a kid. The orders were to kill everybody, which causes Gerald to just like fucking snap. And then he decides the best course of action is I'm gonna just destroy the world. And
Yeah.
then they have like a full reversal of character on him on that in Shadow the Hedgehog, and now he's suddenly the greatest hero the world ever had. And he only did the thing with the black arms because they made him do it, guys. And he put a thing in Shadow to make sure that he couldn't be controlled by them, and he'll actually save the world and be the hero. And I actually loved all of you, even though I went absolutely batshit insane and tried to murder you all 3 years ago.
Such a good game.
Script
Like,
100.
seriously?
Yeah, script 100.
Oh
It's
man.
fucking stupid, man.
See, Shadow fails on the like level, like it's not a good Sonic game, let alone a good game. Sonic Boom is just like places don't load when you walk into them. Like, it's just not done. It's like
yeah,
they
it's just
didn't
not
take
finished.
the time to like finish building stuff. Like, also, I don't particularly like the Sonic Boom world, but considering it's a different world from the rest of the Sonic world, the game did a good job of adapting that world. I just don't like that world.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's. I think the best Sonic game to probably ever be was Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And then really close to that at this point we have Sonic Generations, Sonic Mania, and trying to remember the name.
Generations wasn't bad.
Generations was okay.
See, Generations was a game where they went, the point of this game is nostalgia for the people who like us. And then they just went ham on the nostalgia. And they proved they didn't need to have terribly designed levels from the other games, because they redesigned any level from any of the other Sonic games to be way better. Like the level from Sonic 06 was not buggy garbage.
Yeah, unlike Sonic 06.
Unlike
Which
every
was-
level in Sonic 06.
Yeah, which was just that was not a game, that was just a bug. That's what that
Yeah.
was.
See, the main thing that annoyed me about Sonic 06 was they had so many like things where they clearly wanted you to do the ring dash, where you like zip through a line of rings and stuff. It never worked. You'd start the ring dash and then you just like zip off in a random direction for no reason.
Yeah.
And it didn't
The
matter.
only
You could just
time that it would
hit the
work
ring
is
dash
if you
button
had. The
and
only
then
time
not
it would work
hit
is if
any
you had
directional.
something to. If you had like an enemy or something to attack right at the end of the ring dash.
Mm.
That was the only time it had ever worked.
I was also going to say that despite the fact that I also really hate the writing on Sonic Forces, from a video game perspective, they built a good game. That game is not a horrible, buggy mess of garbage.
Instead, it's just a horrible miasma of terrible script.
It really is.
Miasma.
My main problem with that script is who the fuck is Infinite and why do I care?
You're not supposed to give a shit. You're just supposed to attack him. He's the bad guy.
Well, here's the other thing, right? For like probably the first half of the script, I didn't even realize Eggman was existent in this world as the bad guy. Like, oh wait, Eggman's pulling his strings? I mean, to be fair, that's a nice reversal of what usually happens, which is Eggman was the dupe for someone else. But like, also, it would have been nice to know Eggman was involved in the world at some point prior to this. I guess you technically know that if you're paying attention because Eggman ruled the world or whatever, but
because Eggman ruined the world.
I don't know. I haven't played Sonic Forces. I don't.
It's bad.
To play Sonic Forces.
If your thing is if you don't care about just playing like a well-designed, fun.
If you don't care about playing a good game, play Sonic Forces.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, the thing is, like, it's as far as like design goes, I thought it was fun. Like, the levels aren't bad. The levels are fun to play and everything. But if you don't want like the garbage story, then yeah, don't play Forces. Because Forces you play, by the way, as your own self-insert character. That's not a joke.
Yeah, it's an OC.
Oh, I know. I'm
wish
aware.
That was a joke.
I'm well aware. They finally gave in to all the demands from DeviantArt.
I was gonna say, what was it? I remember Aaron Hansen joking that Dragon Ball Z was DeviantArt, or Dragon Ball Xenoverse was DeviantArt the game. Nope. Sonic Forces is DeviantArt the game. Fight me.
Sonic Forces is DeviantArt the game.
It well and truly is.
Yeah.
All right. Let's let Beard talk about his thing now.
Oh, is it my turn to talk now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So, gentlemen,
Speak, coward.
Gentlemen, let me take you back for a moment to a time in the past, a good time in the past, back when we had Beanie Babies and Tamagotchis. We had,
the 90s?
you know, Moon Shoes and the ever so infinite rise of Eminem. Talking about the early 90s. Good stuff. Good times. Back when the best video game on the planet was none other than Doom. Back before the literal devil himself crawled out of the fiery pits of hell and started to whisper into the ears of game designers, put platforming in your FPS games. Who the fuck does that?
Bungie?
Yeah, it's true. Platforming in FPS games is the worst fucking thing. It's horrible. It's awful.
5 minutes of Destiny.
It's the worst game design choice, apart from maybe putting FPS in your platformer.
Platforming in FPS, perfect example of why it's not a good idea. Destiny 2, 0 hour.
Yes!
I don't know about that, but please tell me more.
David, would you like to?
Alright, Destiny 2 had these two infamous missions, Whisper and 0R. And the point was they were supposed to be challenging missions with a timer on them. So already a timed mission.
Oh, good.
With big boss fights at the end, and you had to do it all within the time period, and you would get like a super duper gun.
Yeah, but the first 75% of the mission is a platforming puzzle.
It is a platforming puzzle, yep. So it's like, so in the Whisper, you're jumping between platforms, and some of these platforms are like moving and whatnot, and other ones have like these things on them that just like shoot you off the platform as soon as you land on them. So you have about 0.5 seconds to actually do anything before the blooper bloops you. That's what people called them in the game.
I see.
Cuss. And then in 0 Hour, they just didn't have an excuse. It was terrible puzzles. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And
Zero
like
Hour, there's a part in 0 Hour where you just have to jump off the side of a tower of like the tallest building in the world and just have faith that you'll land in the right spot.
yeah, yep.
What
pretty
the
much.
fuck?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand how it ran through somebody's head where they're like, this game is all about run, have gun, run with gun, pointy shooty, and they were like, how could we break up the sequences of this game? I know. Let's add a jump puzzle. Fuck you!
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't put jump puzzles in your
Jump
FPS!
puzzles.
There's no point to it, especially when it's an FPS. If you look down, you can't see your feet. You have no fucking clue if you're gonna land on that platform. And then
That's a really good point.
They go a step further, and they're like, "We gotta make the platforms small so they're challenging. You can't see where you're gonna land. Don't do that."
You have something specific in mind, I assume.
I did some research on this one. And I found out the most hated jump puzzles of all time in FPS games is from Half-Life 1. Fucking the end of the game, fucking Zen. Zen my ass. That's not Zen at all.
Game is this?
Half-Life?
Half-Life 2?
No,
Is it the
Half-Life.
first Half-Life?
The first Half-Life.
Okay.
Where they gave you where in order to fight the final boss, you have to jump around on platforms, and you can't see where you're gonna land. You have no fucking clue what's going on. And meanwhile, if you fall, you die in a pit of acid. Oh, and by the way, the boss is shooting psycho balls at you the whole time.
I assume if you die, you have to start the whole boss fight over, huh?
Yes!
Hmm.
It's
That's fun.
bad. It's bad game design.
Yeah. Sounds like it. I've
Now-
never played Half-Life.
I have. It was not a good level.
I've never played Half-Life either.
Now,
Well, I mean, actually, we did play Sven co-op.
yeah, and that was Half-Life, and that's the one that
Yeah.
I finished. Now I will say there is a major difference between like a general platforming mechanic and a jump puzzle, and jump puzzles in your FPS game is the worst. There's specific instances where platforming is okay in an FPS game, right? For example, in Dying Light, where the quote-unquote platforming is you have a grappling hook and you shoot across from one roof to the other. That's okay. Because you can jump across a roof to escape zombies. That's fine. But if you're going to tell me in order to go...
Titanfall platforming.
No, Titanfall is just ass.
No. Titanfall platforming is fun, though.
I
Because
don't-
it feels good.
I don't know if I agree with you, but okay.
I think
Sure.
he's talking primarily about the ability to wall run and then jump off the wall to another wall and do another wall
Yeah, but you
run.
still can get up in places and do... It's still platforming.
But like trying to be like, okay, let's play Call of Duty, and then you have to jump up like 20 magical floating platforms to reach whatever. It's the worst. Also, I don't know if that's in a Call of Duty game, but it definitely should not be. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. There's
Okay.
I heard a lot of argument, or I read a lot of argument on the internet when I was researching the topic about there was a game, I believe it was called American McGee's Alice, was the name of the game. And everyone said that one, which was an FPS, had good platforming because you could see your feet. Right? So, like...
Is that really all it takes?
don't think so.
For
I think
some
that feels
people,
like probably,
apparently.
like good platforming. It's just better than the garbage ass platforming from other games.
It's also worthy note to say that, especially if your FPS doesn't include a jump mechanic, don't put a jump puzzle in it.
Oh boy.
Example?
What game are you thinking of here?
I heard a lot of people say the original Quake, which I don't quite understand.
I was thinking a little bit about that because I remember playing it and I remember there being parts where there was kind of jump puzzles, but there wasn't really a jump mechanic, so I never really considered it a jump puzzle. But I
Yeah, the
do remember
original
there
Quake was
being
very different from like the sequels.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
see,
remember there being some parts where there were like platforming like segments, but they weren't like because there's no real jump mechanic. It's like, you just walk that way and you fall off and go to the next platform.
Mm-hmm. I've also read that Doom Eternal had platforming in it, and there was a lot of mixed reviews about that one. A lot of people were like,
Speaking
it
of Doom
was.
Eternal, they gave you the tools to actually platform effectively, and you can see your feet. But for example, in that game, you have a double jump, you have a dash ability. Later on, you can upgrade your dash to do double dashes. There's also like a sort of grapple hook mechanic you can throw in the game. So they don't leave you like most FPSs where it's like jump and I sure fucking hope I hit something.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Destiny gave you specific jump abilities and things, and you had a little bit of power to like control yourself because you had things like lift jets on if you were a Titan, or the glide ability if you were a Warlock. And I don't know what the Hunter had going for it in that regard. I had a double jump, I guess. But
The hunter had like the worst jump, but yeah.
the
Another
Hunter was
game.
the most likely to just not platform.
So
Yeah.
some of the games that people pointed out that was Mirror's Edge, which was it was
Ooh.
it was quote unquote an FPS, but without the S. Really, there's not much shooter
I was
going
gonna
on
say
there.
Mirror's
Feel
Edge
like
really isn't a shooter so much. It's like a
And
first-person
they
parkour game.
yeah, exactly. They
I feel
said
like a
that
lot of
the
people
platforming in
forget about that game.
Mirror's Edge was good because it was designed to be a jump puzzle
platformer,
of a game. Yeah. And Cluster Truck was another one they pointed out as good first-person platforming because, again, it was designed to be that way. However, stuff like the Portal games, which is a puzzle game, but a lot of people had problems with the platforming part because, again, you can't see your feet. You don't really know where you're going to land. You just kind of have to try and judge it. And a lot of people gave credit for like saying, well, you had the jump pads and those were pretty good at aiming you places, which, okay, fine. But it just bothers
The most
me.
annoying thing about Portal was when you had the puzzles where what you had to do was make a portal on the floor and a portal on a wall somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
so you could leap, like you could fall into the portal from the floor and then get shot out the portal in the wall like a cannon. And
Right.
if you did put the portal in the wall in like just the right spot, you just smack the wall and die.
And then there's the other part to it too, which is like in Portal you don't actually have fall damage, right? So if you the only way you'd like die is if you fall off the map or you fall into water or electricity or something like that. But then you're like pulled out of it by GLaDOS, right? Quote unquote. That's the respawn mechanic. But like, uh, apart from that, you could jump and miss the jump and shoot a portal and hit the ground and still be okay because now you can get back up to where you were going because you have a portal.
Yeah. I know you're probably gonna get mad at me to bring this up again, but you want to know what I think is funny now that you're mentioning this and talking about it? is practically anytime there was a jump puzzle in Destiny, people would switch to their swords because you got third-person view.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Yeah,
And
but that makes sense though.
in the first game, it was a lot easier to fly using the swords. Sword flight was much more of an easier thing to do. In the second game, it was like if you're not a Titan, then fucking good luck.
You could do it as a warlock. It was just a royal pain in the ass.
Yeah, if you're a hunter, especially, like, yeah, fucking no, that's not happening.
Nah, a hunter doesn't get it sword fight. But to be fair, the hunter didn't get sword fight in the first game, so
No.
One
the
of the
hunter just doesn't have a
things,
jump mechanic that operates that way.
one of the things that was said was, it makes it
I think
far more tolerable if you add a ledge grabbing mechanic. Because then there's
definitely.
some
Doom Eternal
some
has,
fail safe for
vaulting.
that. Because like otherwise you just fucking fall off and die. And like what the
I was
fuck is
gonna
the point?
say,
Yeah,
I
'cause-
think it's interesting that the fucking the hunter didn't get sword flight because they have an armor set that's called sword flight.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's
thought
stop
that
making
was
everything about
ironic.
Destiny again. I was actually going to say, like, interestingly enough, last night I discovered that dealing with that frustration of like not having wall grab mechanic in of all games, Journey, which is designed to be a platformer.
And you're telling me a game designed for platforming has bad platforming?
No, it has good platforming. I'm just saying that like, I'm empathizing with the thought of like when you jump and you don't have a grab mechanic, you just kind of like even if you just barely didn't make the jump, you still just like float uselessly down to the ground. It's like, come on, man. It's like an inch. Just give me the inch. You know. But with it
Mhm.
in a game that does have the grab mechanic. But to be fair, I think Journey was made before grab mechanics were more popular to do.
I have no idea, in all honesty.
There's also Max Payne, where you have the like weird nightmare sequences, and even with bullet time, the platforming is still absolute garbage because it's first person and you can't see where you're going.
Painkiller.
Oh yeah, oh Painkiller, same thing. Only you don't have the bullet time to help you. It's just garbage. It's just like oh let me just jump up here and jump at it and I'm back on the ground. Okay.
All over again. I already killed all the demons. The thing that's beating me is the fact I can't jump.
The new the 2013 reboot of Rise of the Triad also has some of this in it, and I fucking hate it. It's I guess it's not so bad because it's mostly relegated to the secret levels where you just have to do platforming to get bonus items, but fuck is it fucking stupid. It's like they arranged the stupid
Really
fucking
quick, can I
platforms
ask
in
a
such a way.
question about Space Ripple's game he brought up.
Yeah.
Are these guys Nazis in the prison?
No,
In the
they're just
picture?
police.
They look an
They're
awful
just-
lot like Nazis.
No, they're just police.
Although to be fair, one of them is black, which would not be Nazi.
No, they're just cops.
I wonder if that's a statement about cops.
Maybe.
Back to
Well, to be fair, everyone on that fucking island is mentally insane,
including the cops.
including the cops. Yeah.
Dope. Back to platforming and first-person shooters.
Have you guys ever played Turok?
Yes.
I have not actually.
Platforming.
I've heard about it,
The platforming in Turok is garbage.
Oh, but it's such a fun game.
I mean, yeah, the part where you're running around with a gun killing dinosaurs is great.
Yeah.
That part's
It's fantastic
fantastic.
game.
The part where you have to jump to get places, not so fantastic because you don't have feet.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, I've
I-
never really had a problem making landfall without feet in video games, so I just don't like empathize with that, but I do see how that could be troubling. Usually,
I mean,
I found in my experience that even if you don't have feet, you have a little shadow you can use to track yourself.
even like, uh, I
Not
feel
to
like
play
it's
devil's advocate, just
I feel like it's silly to say this, but even like parkour maps in Minecraft even are better than like dealing with FPS platforming. It's just garbage. And parkour maps in Minecraft are not known to be easy.
parkour maps in Minecraft can go shove a dildo up there.
No, in fact, they try to shove a dildo up your ass.
They
I'm
just
sorry.
suck, dude. I love how when he's actually like passionate about something, he does not care that we curse it and describe it with such horrible, lewd remarks. But the rest of the time, he's like, "Don't cuss, guys. This is YouTube."
I'm sorry. When have I ever fucking said that to
Yeah,
you?
what the fuck are you talking about?
Doesn't he like bleep out whenever we cuss and stuff?
What the fuck? No. Have you ever watched this show on YouTube?
No, I don't think he is.
I watched a couple of episodes at one point.
I don't censor it at all.
No, but you cut chunks out.
Yeah, I cut chunks out where you're talking about something that I don't think needs to be talked about on YouTube. Like when it gets
Yeah, that's called censoring, bro.
Yeah, when it gets like overly political or when you say names you're not supposed to say and I have to edit it out.
That's fair. That's fair. You do bleep it out whenever I use Beef's real name. Or you make me say like, oh, what's your go-to? It's like a very robotic voice saying something other than Beef.
What?
I I usually just dub over it and just say Zeta.
Yeah,
Should
or
just do
something
it
like
and
that.
increasingly frustrated. Just
Yeah,
Zeta.
that's fair. I will get a
Zeta.
text randomly in the middle
Zeta.
of the day while because he'll be
Zeta.
and I will just randomly get a
God
text that says,
fucking damn it, Dave.
God damn it, Dave! And I'm just like, oh, did I say his name again?
I actually sent him a text one time that I was like, I'm so pissed at you, and he's like, what did I do? And I'm like, I had to edit an episode twice because I was so convinced that I missed you saying Zeta's real name somewhere in there, even though you didn't. You didn't say it one time, but I was so convinced that you did because I didn't believe that you couldn't fuck up that I had to edit the episode 2 times just to make sure. And we're talking about a 2-hour episode. So I spent 4 hours of my life on one episode trying to make sure you didn't say anything.
To be honest, there's a level at which I'm like, that's hilarious, almost flattering.
It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier.
It's the quenchiest.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've pretty much said everything I need to say about the worst game mechanic in the world, and we're only an hour in, so do you guys want to talk about QuickTime events?
The fact that most games do not understand how to make them good. Okay, so let me offer a time when QuickTime events are done well. I personally think that the QuickTime events in Dead by Daylight are done really well
The skill checks?
because, yeah, but they are QuickTime events.
Yeah.
Because it helps add to the stress that, well, not the stress, but the anxiety sort of like, I'm
It
a
adds to the
survivor. I'm trying
tension.
tension would be a good way to put it. Yeah, like there's definitely a sense of like just like you don't know that you're gonna survive this trial and making sure that I can't just look around and know constantly where you kind of have to develop the skill to both look around and look for the killer and also be working on whatever you're working on without screwing it up.
Yeah.
So I think that was a really well done thing because it was also they kept it really simplistic. It wasn't like I had to push 18 different buttons to successfully complete the QuickTime event. I just had to push one, and only every now and then when a quick time event shows up, and it's just enough to increase that tension level and make you wonder if I'm going to make it. If you get distracted, you're punished because the generator makes an explosion that would definitely fuck you up in real life. And then the killer can be like, "Oh, over there."
Well, yeah, but there's more to it than how the fucking what's it called? Like it depends on the killer whether they would actually just immediately drop what they're doing and come over there or not. But
We're talking about the
you
quick
know,
time events, not the stage of the game.
yeah, I know.
But
It's just
But a game where quick time events was not implemented so well, and fight me, all you fanboys, God of War.
I was gonna say God of War because it's like, I mean, this is an exaggeration and not at all, accurate to the game, but it's like, I want to make a sandwich. Quick time event, open the cupboard. Quick time event, grab the bread. Quick time event, grab the peanut butter. Quick time event, grab the jelly. Quick time event, get the butter knife.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's bad.
Yeah.
There's too many of
Agreed.
them. Oh, and don't forget that when you're putting the peanut butter on the bread, you have to mash the triangle button. It's garbage game mechanics.
The other thing is like a lot of the times a quick time event is just used as either like a necessary thing you have to do to beat a particular boss, or you could just kill this thing with your swords, but we're gonna give you the shortcut to do the quick time event, which is just mash a button over and over until we feel like you beat the shit out of this animal enough.
The other game that I was okay with the quick time events happening was Saints Row 4, because it only happened at the beginning of the game and only in one particular cutscene, at least that I recall.
There were a couple places where there were quick time events,
but
there
it
were
was
quick time
in
events in the dopey ass thing the nerd dude made for you guys to run around in the
oh yeah, the text game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like too much, right? Like it was push the button to run, and then it was push the button to crawl across the floor, and then it was push the button to grab the gun and shoot.
Yeah.
Like
But that was like only 3 points in the overall arc.
Yeah, it wasn't like God of War where they just spam you with fucking quick time events constantly.
In fairness, the new God of War doesn't do that. Thank Jeebus. The new God of War, they matured a bit, figured out what real game mechanics were.
Yeah, instead they figured out that instead if you replace the quick time events with Kratos saying "boy," it works a lot better.
There. Boy. I've just seen those fucking dumbass compilations on YouTube.
Dad of boy.
Dad of boy, yep.
That's my favorite alternate title to that game.
Man, what's some other games that have... You know what? Another game, I'm going to loop it back around, that had quick time events that had no fucking business being in the game was Sonic the Hedgehog 06.
Oh, did it really?
Oh my god, they were bad. They were so bad. Because the thing was like, you couldn't just homing attack Dr. Robotnik. No, you had to wait till a specific moment, and then the game would give you a prompt. And then if you barely didn't do the prompt in time, you just got totally railed by Robotnik shit. And they gave you like 0.5 seconds to react because the Sonic is speedy.
The Sonic is speedy, very fast, man.
I've looked up a list. I've looked up a list of the 15 worst QuickTime events ever made.
Awesome. Let's hear them. I'm looking up this list.
Number 1, Batman Arkham Origins Deathstroke fight.
Oh man, that is
yeah.
That's accurate.
I know Dave has
so
played
bad.
that one.
That's so bad too. It's such a garbage.
That's just shitty in general to be like, we're not gonna let you actually fight someone. We're just gonna give you quick time events.
Yeah.
That's awful. Oh look, another fight. Gears of War 2 Scourge.
I don't know.
I don't know it either, but I can tell you, quick time events in a fight, not good.
What the hell is this?
No. Yeah,
How do
no,
you
not
go
good.
to the next page on this list?
You push the arrow button. Resident Evil 6 climbing a rope. I've never played any of the Resident Evil games, but apparently they turned it into a cumbersome chore to climb a fucking rope because they spam you with quick time events and you have to just like.
Oh. This isn't the one I was thinking of, but yeah, no. Oh no. Metal Gear Solid. I know where this is going.
Metal Gear Solid, the torture sequence. Uh-huh.
Oh my god. Because it was torture for the character and the player.
I think in a lot of cases, they just ended up torturing Snake to death because it was more fun.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh my god. This quick time event setup was so garbage.
Uncharted, the final fight. I don't know. I've never played Uncharted, but apparently it's
if we're
garbage.
talking, yeah, the first game. This actually is bad. He has a sniper rifle and he's shooting at you, and the only way you can dodge him or not like get hit by him is you basically have to just suddenly have QTEs because you can't just move from box to box like a normal person.
What
And then,
is
of
the
course,
point
when you
of
get
that?
close enough to actually attack him, it is a flurry of QTEs to actually succeed at beating him. And again, it's a case where it's supposed to be a fight, but it's not a fight. You're just mashing a button over and over.
Like I get okay, like in let's say like a Call of Duty game where you have to there's an explosion behind you and you have to run and like jump across a fucking gap, and you have to like use a quick time event to catch your partner's hand so he can pull you up. That is fine because that's one in like a very rare instance.
You know what I just remembered? There's quick time events in Resident Evil 6.
I literally said that just a
Literally
few minutes
just
ago.
mentioned it.
Wait,
The rope climbing?
Yeah.
specifically in Resident Evil 6, though, is what I'm talking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically in Resident Evil 6.
Specifically in Resident Evil 6, yeah.
about. Okay, well, I guess I wasn't paying attention. My bad.
Halo 4, the Diadect Showdown. I don't know.
I removed this memory from my brain.
I never
pretty
played
sure it's-
Halo 4. Didn't Halo end after 3? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought it was pronounced what's it called? Didact.
Who the fuck cares?
No, he doesn't exist. Just like any other game that came out after Halo Reach doesn't exist.
Oh, this one's from Bayonetta. Apparently
This is one ugly looking motherfucker.
Fortitude Fireball.
Fortudido.
I guess it's bad. I guess a lot of people don't like it. I would have to play it
I don't know
myself to
anything
find
about
out.
Bayonetta. I've never played Bayonetta.
Final Fantasy
Yeah,
VIII,
but-
the Valve Hatch.
The Valve Hatch.
What the
Yeah,
hell? To
it's-
open the valve, hit square repeatedly for 10 seconds. What the fuck? Why?
It's one of the earliest examples of like a quick time event. And the reality
Why?
of it is like a legit quick time event. You just like I don't know. Because it doesn't
Mash-
like change
mash
the,
the
camera
button.
or whatever like a normal one does.
Mash the button to open the hatch. Just let me go up and push open hatch. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yo.
Resident Evil 4, Krauser knife fight.
Resident Evil 4, anything that has to do with that one bitch. President's daughter.
Leon!
Or that guy, yeah. Leon!
Tomb Raider, surviving strangulation. Oh, come on.
I haven't played enough Tomb Raider to actually like the new Tomb Raider. I haven't played enough
Push,
of it to, like,
push,
actually-
Press X to not die.
What's worse than playing an annoying QTE? Dying because you don't even know it's a QTE. Because apparently they don't give you a prompt to let you know you're supposed to do that.
Oh, that sucks.
That's so lame. That is terrible.
That's fucking awful.
Oh,
That's a horrible
fucking-
game
this
mechanic.
This
Middle
is
Earth,
Middle-earth,
Shadow of Mordor, final fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have played this. Can I please rant about this for a minute?
Oh, go on.
This sucks. This is the epitome of a fight that isn't a fight. It's just like mash buttons and watch this cutscene that we made. It's so
Yeah.
bad. It's so bad, especially because of the way that they build this game. And there's this thing called like the Nemesis system, where like you can hunt down and kill an orc, but he won't actually die. He might like barely survive or get away, and then he will come back later and be like your nemesis, and he will get stronger and go up the ranks and everything. And they've used this whole system to build up the major bad guys of the story the whole time. So every time like a major bad guy kind of person makes an appearance, this person is so powerful that it makes your nemesis kneel to them. And your nemesis is a problem. He's annoying. He is really, really tough to beat. So, and just so we're clear, you can have multiple nemesis, but like this is a thing that happens. And
There's one in particular that you can get that you will kill him. You will cut him in fucking half and he will come back.
yeah,
That
but the
does
thing
sound
that
annoying.
makes it suck so bad is you basically the final fight is with the Mouth of Sauron, who uses some magic brouhaha to briefly transform into Sauron himself. And
What?
and like when you see
what?
this, yeah, no, that's a joke. When you see this, it's incredibly intimidating. You're like, oh fuck, this is worse than all the nemesis and all their bosses. And then it's just like the lamest quick time event. Like you can't not win the boss fight. You just like push buttons and win. And that's all it is. That takes no skill, no nothing. All this lead up to just like fucking 2-minute boss fight, insta win, no problem.
It's equivalent to like when you have a game cutscene that's like really fucking high quality and really badass looking, and it's like really cool in general, and then you switch to game graphics and it's like, wow, look at these potatoes.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly
Like
that.
Final Fantasy 10.
I mean, more or less.
That quick time event, I personally hate very, very hard.
Apparently, they added QuickTime events in Mirror's Edge to fight bosses. I didn't even know that game had bosses.
I barely touched Mirror's Edge. I didn't know I had bosses either.
Yeah.
Oh,
good.
I know
There's
you've played this one, Dave. I know you've played this one. Star Wars Force Unleashed.
I'm sorry.
Fighting the
This
Star
game is so
Destroyer.
much fan fiction. I refuse to believe anything else.
Oh, it absolutely is. But I remember I saw you and I've seen Anthony play this too. And oh my god, you both were like, I fucking hate this level. What the fuck?
See, the thing with the Star Destroyer, they don't really adequately explain to you what you're supposed to fucking do to tear it down out of the sky. It's like I spent 5 minutes just making the Star Destroyer like dip and then go back to normal, and then it looked like it was gonna take off, and then dip. I'm like, how am I supposed to pull it towards me?
Oh my god, it's so bad, dude.
I mean, to be fair, looking back, it looked dopey as hell because you just have the Star Destroyer floating in the sky. You can see it, and it's just kind of going wee,
Yeah.
but it's not like getting destroyed or anything. It's just moving.
Just make it dance. Play some techno music. The Techno Union.
The thing is, because this happens like right after a fight, you feel like at any moment you're going to get attacked by someone or something, and you don't. It just isn't programmed to happen in the game.
And don't you have like the old guy yelling at you the whole time?
Yeah, because he. Well, to be fair, there is a timer. If you don't
Use
pull
the
it down in time,
force!
you have to go back to the fucking
Use the
Um,
force! Pull the Star
thingamajig.
Destroyer!
Yeah, right.
Fuck you, old man! Oh, does this count as a quick time event? Paying respects in Call of Duty?
You know, here's the thing, though. I don't know if I would call that a bad QuickTime event. That was more like just a cutscene. Yeah, I don't know. Does it count as a QuickTime event? I don't even know what that is.
I don't think it is, because I think all that
counts
happens
as
is you walk up, you push a button, and your character puts his hand on the coffin for a second and then walks away. That's not really a quick time event. That's just like an event.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that a quick time event.
Apparently, Mercenaries 2 has a terrible QuickTime event, but I never played that game, so I don't know.
I don't know either. Mercenaries 2, the final fight. Yeah, I don't know. Well, that was a fun list.
Yeah.
So-
does anyone else have a bad game design thing they'd like to
Well, I was thinking about what happens when bugs become features.
Oh my god. I don't know if I even want to call that, like, it's terrible.
Let me see if I can find a list of these too.
No, no.
Bugs
no.
bugs that became features. Here we go. Top 10 bugs
Please,
that
no.
became features. Oh, it's from watchmojo.com. This'll be good.
Well, now we're just, like, recycling Watch Mojo content. Why are we doing that?
I can go to a different list if that bothers you.
I don't know. But, like, to be fair, I could argue about a bunch of things in Elder Scrolls and Fallout that, like, the entirety of Fallout 76.
The entirety of Fallout 76.
Bad game design. No, guys, no, we're not gonna make any NPCs. The people who play the game will be NPCs, and it'll just be a giant empty world with nothing in it.
Fallout 76, a bug that became
Don't
a
worry.
feature.
Don't worry, if you play Fallout 76, you're an NPC in real life.
Can you just like run around in Fallout 76 and be like, "Hey, you, come here.
No. But
Listen,
so, like,
listen.
they're
I dropped
totally
my
clear.
one-of-a-kind stopwatch somewhere between here and Port Damali. I need you to go find it for me."
So you can't give other players quests, and
Then what's the point?
so I think that's like, I kind of understand like what they were trying to do. If you look at like sort of the Japanese anime VR trope of like having a world that is literally made entirely by the players that inhabit it, and maybe but even those tropes, NPCs exist. They're just not a part of the game that the show focuses on or the narrative focuses on, because there are a good example of something close to this in real life would be EVE Online. There's a ton of stuff that is all player done and player created, and if you create your own sort of like space station where people can come trade and do stuff, you can set your taxes for that space station, and they have to pay you those taxes in order to sell and buy at that location. And as long as those taxes aren't the exorbitant bullshit taxes of the NPC people, most people will take them. But I see like what they wanted to do with that was they wanted to build an actual like breathing world with people in it. The problem is you put a whole bunch of people who are goal slash objective oriented in this game. They don't care about making a little space in Riverside Town number 2 and making a little whatever. They care about, you know, completing the objectives of the game and finding the raid boss and beating that. You know, they don't. Nobody plays a video game to go run a stall because that's what people do from 9 to 5 in real life. They want to
Mhm.
get away from that and go be a hero. My rant is over. Y'all can talk now.
Apparently, Apparently, the apparently GTA, right? Apparently, originally there was a game called Race and Chase.
It was basically
From
cops and robbers.
Yeah, that was from Rockstar, and apparently the ridiculous antics of the police in that game led to the creation of GTA because they just like homed in on you and shit.
Yes, I do remember that. Right.
Also, there was the character Ermac from Mortal Kombat was a bug. Uh, the I guess it was as programming code for error macro, but they just ended up deciding to turn it into a character because they were like, "Fuck it, why not?" And honestly, if you know the Mortal Kombat series, that's sort of half
That
the
makes
story.
perfect sense.
Fuck it, why not? And of course, we all know the good old creeper from Minecraft was a improperly
Was, messed
designed
up.
pig
Yep.
that became a thing. What is this one? Quake had a bug.
Quake had a lot of bugs. What are you talking about?
Strafe jumping. Okay, that's what they're calling was a bug that got turned into a feature.
I don't know
I don't
if
know
I'd
about that
call it
one.
a bug.
Yeah, I don't know if
Oh, apparently it was originally. Oh, of course, wave dashing in Super Smash Brothers. That was originally a bug that got turned into a feature.
Wave dashing? What is wave
Oh
dashing?
boy, you haven't seen professional Super Smash Brothers fights at all, have you?
A little bit. Like when I was at Game Expo a few years ago, they had a tournament. And we sat down and watched that for about an hour.
So the simple explanation of it is, rather than doing an air dash, you transfer that to the ground and do a they called it a wave dash on the ground to like quickly move away from somebody.
That's
And
not originally like an intended.
yeah, it wasn't
feature.
originally an intended feature, but it became such a big thing, such a like game changer thing in like melee tournaments and stuff that in future installations of Smash Brothers, they made it a feature.
Yeah, I
Let's
feel
see.
like that's a good
Yeah,
example of taking a
right.
bug and making it a feature, because like it was something that you didn't intend in the game, but it did actually improve gameplay experience. So instead of fighting against it, saying no, that's not what we wanted, they just embraced it and went, well, everyone loves this, let's just make it legit.
Oh,
Um,
everyone's favorite bug that became a feature from Sid Meier's Civilization.
Oh no.
oh, the fucking like
Gandhi, King of Nukes, yeah.
Gandhi nuke.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's like the most ironic, hilarious one.
I know, and it was such a like stupid like why would Gandhi do that, lol, that they were like, fuck it, we're gonna leave it in.
Because the thing I think is hilarious about that, right, is like obviously in the original games there was some attempt to make like to do like a we definitely don't want to like we don't want these people to not be the way they really were. How do I put this? Like we don't want these world leaders to be misrepresented, basically. We want
Right.
them to actually look and act and feel like the characters they really were in real life. So that's why they did things like make Gandhi automatically at the lowest level of like aggression and whatnot. But what I think is hilarious is in Civ 6, which is the one that I play, just like kind of doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter who you are. Like you as the player, just kind of choose what you do.
Mhm.
Is Space Ripple still with us?
Yes.
He's there.
Okay. I'm wondering because the little like thing on the side has you and I lit up, but not him.
It's because I haven't said anything for a little while.
No, he's talking about over under here where it says members.
Yeah. You're probably like offline or something. I don't know. Or clearing it.
Yeah. My thing is set to offline. Set to
That'd
invisible.
be the way. But anyway, yeah, that's
No, it's red.
no, it's red.
Well, it was red. Anyway.
Moving
So
on. More
I
bugs to become features.
I looked up a thread for bad game design, and there's a lot of stuff that it's like a long, like paragraphs of things, but the very end of it is just I just want one game that shows me prime bad game design. Sonic 06 or Sonic Boom, take your pick.
For real.
Say it here. To be fair, I picked Shadow, but that was because I wanted to give an example of how they just bad game design isn't just a case of like physically having bad mechanics in your game. You also like divorce yourself from the original idea of your series or whatever so thoroughly that it just is not accepted. But if we were talking about just the physical game design itself, oh yeah, 06 is way worse. How many times in the jungle level have I just not grabbed a thing despite hitting the grabby button?
Apparently, Yu-Gi-Oh is full of problems.
Oh, are we
The
gonna go
card
into that
game
level of
or
bad
Duel
game
Links?
design?
Hey, we can go there.
Are we talking about like the Yu-Gi-Oh video games, or are we talking about the
No,
card
we're
game?
talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game.
Oh boy.
Apparently, it's full of
So-
issues.
I'm gonna go back in time a little bit to discuss. So Yu-Gi-Oh has something called the ban list, which I think most people, even outside Yu-Gi-Oh, are somewhat aware exists. Is a list of cards that are so breakingly broken you are not allowed to play them. There are other cards that are called restricted cards that are pretty broken, but it's okay. You can have one of them in your deck. If you...
It's basically tournament bans.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
these
then-
are banned in tournaments. You can play them against your friends if you
Oh yeah,
want.
against your friends whenever you want. So for as an example, like I'm gonna give a couple examples of cards.
As an
that have been
example,
banned,
Yugi's entire deck from the show.
Most of
except
it,
Dark
yeah.
Magician. Dark Magician never got banned, but aside from that, yeah, a lot of his like spells and traps are banned.
Pot of Greed!
Banned.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Pot of Greed is bad. But see, like the other thing is you have to understand that the game has undergone so many changes over a long period of time that like when Pot of Greed first came out, in literally the first set of cards to ever come out, you know, having the ability to summon two more cards or to draw two more cards from your deck wasn't really that game breakingly terrible. But when you started having decks whose whole point was to mill your decks for the best cards and annihilate your opponent in 5 seconds, yeah, and suddenly Pot of Greed was a problem. So they had to get rid of it.
I used Pot of Greed to summon 2 cards from the Exodia. And now I have 3 of the Exodia cards, of the 5 Exodia cards. And my next turn, I summon Pot of Greed to find the rest of Exodia. And now I win the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Blue eyes white, fuck you.
Blue Eyes White Bitch Nerd Dragon.
So a great example of the very first ban list, to give you an idea. The basics of Yu-Gi-Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, is you have monster cards, spell cards, and trap cards. And basically the whole point of the game is, are my numbers bigger than yours? Then my monster beats your monster, unless you have a spell or a trap that can, affect the battle in some way. So for example, there's a spell card called Rush Recklessly that you can flip over that's only available for that fight, but it adds like 500 attack power to your monster. So if if I attack you with a monster that's only a little bit more powerful than you could turn that around on me and say no you.
I find it
Basically.
funny that basic description could also describe D&D.
Kinda, yeah. It's just the card game version with an entirely different universe that has nothing to
No,
do
the
with
card
D&D.
game version of D&D is Magic the Gathering, and that is way too much.
That Magic is like really complicated. But to be fair, that's what initially drew me to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it's very simplistic. Because in Magic there's this whole like stuff about how much damage do you deal in a turn and all
Yeah,
this
apparently
other whatnot.
Yu-Gi-Oh's too simplistic. So
It kind of
simplistic,
is.
so
'Cause
simplistic
when
that
it
they go,
first
"Oh
started
man,
out, it
this
was
card's a
great.
little too powerful, isn't it?"
Well, so so they came out with a deck of cards whose main thing was different cards can have different attributes based on like the elements. So this deck's main thing was that it was mostly made out of light and dark cards, and there were several cards in the deck that you would summon by banishing, like so many lights and so many darks to pull out a really powerful card, which when you're using something like Envoy of the Beginning or Chaos Sorcerer, it's just a strong beat stick mostly. Like it does have an effect that allows you to banish a single card, but it's not terrifying or brokenly powerful until you got to Chaos Dragon, who had the ability originally to nuke the entire board. Every card on the board goes bye-bye, and for every card on the board that went bye-bye, your opponent takes 300 points of direct damage, which pretty much sold you the game instantly. And it was so easy to summon. It took like 2 turns to set up the summon for it, and then you just destroyed the game.
Wow.
So at that point, the people who made Yu-Gi-Oh were like, maybe this was a bad idea. Let's make him not okay to use in tournaments, which of course pissed everyone off immediately. But um, that same ban list that had Chaos Dragon on it, Chaos Emperor Dragon or whatever it was called. Also had Pot of Greed get limited to only 1 per deck. I think a couple other spell cards like Heavy Storm maybe got limited. I don't know, but that's just been something that they've done now. Is like
I don't even remember
they
the
will.
full ban list because it's been so fucking long since
I
I've
could
looked at it.
I have
fucking look it
I
up.
have a list here of 15 cards that broke the game and had to be banned.
One of them, Pot of Greed.
Sure, let's go. We probably know most of them.
Witch of the Black Forest.
Yeah, that was on the first. That was on the first ban list.
Pot of Greed.
Yep.
Monster Reborn.
So to give you an idea,
Mhm.
really
Monster
quickly,
Reborn was so broken. It was literally
let me
just
try
like,
to
yeah,
let me try to like explain to you why some of these were done. So Witch of the Black Forest wasn't really powerful by herself, but she could search out and summon certain cards from your deck, which again originally wasn't that powerful, but eventually that allowed you to search out very specific cards that were very very powerful, like Yatagarasu, which is another forbidden card. Um, Yatagarasu was a card that you could easily make a technical victory in because Yatagarasu prevented your opponent from drawing any cards. So if your opponent didn't have monster cards, that's it. The game's over. They lose.
yeah, basically. It was fucking like way too good.
Yeah.
That is broken as fuck.
But Yatagarasu was searchable by Witch of the Black Forest, I think, or Sangan, one of the two.
I don't think
No,
it was
wait, it's
single. I think
Wind.
it was.
Because I think Witch of the Black Forest was any dark monster with 1500 or less attack, and Sangan was. Or no, Witch of the Black Forest was any monster with 1500 or less defense, and Sangan was any monster with 1500 or less attack, which was way too broad. So there were other versions, like other cards that did similar, but there would be something like you can only search out a dark monster with 1500 or less attack. So it narrowed the field on what you could actually find. But Witch of the Black Forest and Sangan were the original two, and they could search out, any monster with those. So, for example, one of the other ones that Witch of the Black Forest could search out was Jinzo, which anyone who knows a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh would know. Jinzo was also really, really rough because he just made it so trap cards didn't work, period. And he was a massive 2400 attack beat stick.
Wow.
Yeah. And
And
there's multiple different types of Jinzos.
We went over what Pot of Greed did.
You draw 2 more cards from your deck to your hand.
Monster Reborn. Who wants to describe that one?
If I remember correctly, Monster Reborn just lets you pull a card out of your graveyard.
I was say
your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard.
Or your opponent's graveyard.
Or your opponent's graveyard. Oh.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of scenarios.
So
your
your opponent could have a really good monster, and you could kill it and then summon it, and it's on your team.
Well, not only that, but some cards require you to have stuff in the graveyard. So, for example, like Chaos Sorcerer or Chaos Emperor Dragon.
Yeah, and you could fuck that up for them.
Yeah, it require you to have like 3 darks and 3 lights or something like that. It might be 2 darks and 2 lights in your graveyard. So you just summon one of those darks or lights from his graveyard to your side of the field. He doesn't have that to set up his thing. Which, to be fair, when you were fighting Chaos Emperor Dragon, wasn't broken. It was a very good counter. But, once Chaos Emperor Dragon was removed from the pool of options, why bother keeping that counter? Because that counter became really broken against other things. Or you can do things where, like, unless the card says specifically on it that it cannot be special summoned, then Monster Reborn can target it and special summon it.
Yeah. Substitute. I'm not really sure what it does.
I never played.
I'm not familiar with Substitute.
Yeah, it doesn't say on this list what it does. It just says that it's a D-bag of a card. Let
me look up Substitute.
What does Substitute do?
Good ass question. What does Substitute do?
You contribute 1 monster to special summon 1 frog monster from your deck, except Frog the Jam. Frog monsters except Frog the Jam cannot be destroyed by battle. Oh.
Oh my god.
I can see
that is pretty broken.
I can see why that got banned.
What the fuck? What the absolute shit is that?
It's some broken ass shit.
Cannot be destroyed by battle does not mean that you do not take damage from battle with it. But it does mean that it absolutely protects what you put on the field to use as a tribute summon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End. I think you just talked about that one.
Yeah, that was just delete your opponent the card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Magical Scientist.
Okay, so his ability is fun. So are you aware of what fusion cards were?
No.
So the idea was you take 2 monsters and a magic card called Polymerization, and if you had the correct 2 monsters as well as the correct fusion monster in your side deck, you could fuse those 2 monsters together to make a more powerful monster. Some of those fusion monsters were really, really powerful. Well, what Magical Scientist did was allow you to just pay 1,000 life points and summon whatever fusion monster you wanted.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, a little bit broken, if you ask me.
Yeah, that sounds
especially
a bit
when you
broken.
have when you have fusion monsters like Dragon Rider Knight with 5,500 attack and cannot be destroyed by battle for the first 3 turns that is on the field. Because 5,500 wasn't a strong enough beat bar as it was. Or sorry,
Uh,
it could not be destroyed by card effects for the first 3 or something like that. What up?
Victory Dragon.
I actually don't know anything about that one.
The wind
I can look it
dragon.
up.
Do you want me to?
I'm willing to.
You want me to read the description they wrote?
Oh wait, I
Because
think I know what this is.
it's
I know what
very
this is.
it's very
It's
entertaining.
the dragon that not only wins the game for you, it wins your 3-game best 2 of 3
Yeah.
for you immediately.
Fucking Victory Dragon. It
That
wins.
is like the lamest. That's like a classical example of like, we already have cards that insta win the game. Where does go from here?
Insta win the game in specific instances.
Insta win the game and the next game.
Yeah. Return
Like,
from the different
what?
dimension.
Which
I
which
don't
one is
know.
that? Return from the different dimension. That there's a lot of different dimension cards. That's when you banish them.
Yeah.
The different dimension is when you banish them. Okay, so if I recall correctly, yeah. So basically, like, pay life points, and you can just take as many of your removed from play monsters as possible and bring them back
I see.
for 1 turn, which I never thought was that broken personally, but
I could see
I
how
suppose
that
if you
would
have
be.
cards like Chaos and Dragon.
Tribe infecting
Then-
virus.
What? What is that?
Uh,
Has this just become a Yu-Gi-Oh! Roast fest, by the way?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Tribe infecting virus. What is this? Discard a card from your hand and declare 1 type of monster. Destroy all face-up monsters of the declared type on the field. Okay, that could have some interesting connotations in various.
I think
I
it's
feel like-
funny because on the list that I am looking on, most of the cards described so far have a picture of like the card art. This one just has a picture of the Plague Inc. map.
The fuck.
Nice. No, see, I can see that because there are a lot of decks that are like built around an archetype or a specific type of enemy. So like you might have a water deck, or you might have like a zombie deck or whatever. And so if all of your major attack cards are zombies, and you have Tribe Infecting Virus, which just instantaneously destroys everything of a certain type of monster on the field, then there goes all of your amazing zombie attackers. Because I could just say zombie, and now all the zombies are dead.
Yep.
Not that they weren't already dead. But I could do the same thing with like winged beasts or dragons or whatever.
Or archfiends.
Giant Trinade.
Oh, that one. What that card did was that you played the card, and all the back row cards that your opponent had, back row being the traps and spells that they would place to try to like get you when you try to do something on your turn, would all be returned to their hand. So at least for that turn you were playing right now, you didn't have to worry about any traps being set up for you. Unless they were, monster traps.
And apparently it cost
Vindictive Magician.
piddly to nothing to use that card.
Yeah, pretty much.
Card of Safe Return.
Hardest. Why would that one get banned? I don't
Apparently,
recall that one being particularly bad.
you can draw one whatever you special summon from the graveyard.
Is that its original?
Let me
So
look
some
it
of
up.
these like
Card of Safe
some of these
Return.
got an errata on them.
When a monster is special summoned from the graveyard, you can draw one card.
I don't see why that would need to get removed, but that's, to be fair, like Yu-Gi-Oh's gone through so many different forms and modes. there might have been a time when that was a really broken ability to have, but I wasn't playing the game at that time, so I just don't know.
Elemental hero Stratos.
Yeah, no, I know why he was banned.
Tell me about it.
He was a bit too strong. Hold on.
Apparently,
I want to make sure this is the one I'm thinking of.
apparently 1800
No, he had an ability.
1800.
He had an ability that was way too strong. Normal summoned, you can activate one of the effects, destroy spell or traps on the field, up to the number of hero monsters you control except this card, or add a hero monster from your deck to your hand. Yeah. So those were both really bad. In that hero was an archetype, and it was an archetype that specifically thrived off of like moving monsters from the deck to the hand or from the deck to the field.
Mm-hmm.
So having the ability to do that, to just like blanket any hero monster you could just do that with, was really broken for that deck specifically. And also you could just decide instead of that you just wanted to annihilate all the spells or traps on the field, which was also really brokenly powerful. If I recall correctly, pre-errata, that also did damage to you, similar to the Chaos End Dragon.
The
but
Tyrant,
not, like, at the broken.
the Tyrant Neptune.
The Tyrant Neptune.
Apparently, it has 0 attack and defense, but you can tribute summon it, and it takes on the attack defense of whatever you tribute summon, and also is immune to card effects.
Yeah, that's a little broken.
So it says that if you tribute Lyrical Lucina Independent Nightgale for it, you'll wind up with a 6,000 attack monster that deals 5,000 burn damage per turn and is immune to card effects. Boy, oh boy.
Well, that's like a 2-turn win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that really
it
is like
is.
2-turn win that you just can't do anything about because you can't remove him from the field.
Yeah.
Like the only monster that even has a hope of that is Dragon Master Knight. And you still have to buff him on top of summoning him. And his summon condition is so goddamn convoluted. Although probably by the time this guy came out, there were other options.
We have a card called Sixth Sense. I'm not sure what it does. Let's see.
Let's see. Declare 2 numbers from 1 to 6. Then your opponent rolls a 6-sided die. And if the result is one of the numbers you declared, you draw that many cards.
What the
Otherwise, send the
fuck?
number of cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the result.
Bruh.
That would be kind of broken, not gonna lie.
Why are we getting dice involved with this bullshit?
Yeah. Bro, you have no idea. You have like tokens and counters, and the Yu-Gi-Oh is a card game that has a lot of things that aren't cards in it. Also, it's getting close to 11 o'clock.
Yu-Gi-Oh is
Okay,
a card
then-
game where there's cards that say flip a coin.
Okay, then
That's true.
let me mention the last card on this list, Obelisk the Tormentor.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's the most broken of the god cards.
What can you tell me about it?
It won when you summoned it. I mean, not officially, but hold on. Let me see if I can find the pre-errata for it real quick. I do remember that you couldn't affect it with card effects for the first turn it was on the field. It had 4,500 attack, which was pretty high for Yu-Gi-Oh. It could only be tribute summoned by tributing 3 monsters, which actually makes it really bad. But you know, where's the requires 3 tributes to normal summon, cannot be normal set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. When the normal summoned, cards and effects cannot be activated. Neither player can target this card with card effects. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, send it to the graveyard. You contribute 2 monsters, destroy all the monsters your opponent controls. This card cannot declare an attack the turn this effect is activated. Okay, that's an errata. Originally, you could tribute 2 monsters, destroy all monsters your opponent controls, and immediately slam him for 4,500 attack. That's why he was banned.
Yeah, I can see. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! What a great game.
It's terrible.
All right, well, I think we've rambled on long enough about bad game design.
And we've even rambled on about bad card game design, so you know it
Yeah,
wasn't just
hey,
about video
card games are games too.
I don't think that The Odd Ones Out's card game is a very good one, but you know.
I had to Google the rules to that one because I didn't get it.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
Anyway, so this has been the tutorial. If you learned something, let us know in the comments.
Why'd you learn something? The whole point is not to learn something, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
Just
whole
don't-
point is,
just don't watch the episode.
yeah, just don't watch this one. Watch the next one.
Yeah, and then if you
The
learn
one where we
something,
talk about our favorite movies.
yeah, yeah, that one. And if you learn something, don't watch that one. But
All right.
but you have to not watch it after you've watched it to see if you learn anything,
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
because that makes logical sense. Anyway, I'm a tired boy.
Yep.
And I have places to be in an hour.
All right,
Gotta go.
say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.